Hello, dear listener, and welcome to ThriveCast, unlocking your full potential. Your well-being is our priority, and we're here to provide you with practical, heartfelt advice on living your best life. Together, we'll explore identity, purpose, prosperity mindset, authenticity, and so much more. So grab your headphones and get ready. Your journey starts now. So hello everyone and welcome to ThriveCast, Unlock Your Full Potential. I'm Oscar, I'm an emotional fitness coach, and I help people find emotional clarity so they can understand and come in contact with their inner wisdom. And with me today I have Katarina Hanssens Carlsson. Katarina, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So thank you, Oscar. So I'm the CEO of Destiny International 11. And for 20 years, I've been helping people find their entrepreneurial blueprint. I also do their spiritual blueprint. And if you want to break through with me, click on my link below. So today, we are going to be talking about the topic, are we Christians? Some of us have been to church, some of us are Protestants or Catholics, some of us have left the church, maybe in disgust, whatever it is, or that it's disappointed us. But the topic is, are we Christians? So the first question is, what is a Christian? And what does it mean to be a Christian, Oscar?
Wow. Yeah, what a topic this is going to be. First of all, I would like to say that, I'm baptized and I did confirmation when I was 17 years old. But other than that, I haven't had that much of a connection to Christianity up until, very late into my adulthood. Basically, when I was 40 years old, that's when I started to connect to Jesus again. And what does it mean to be Christian? Well, in its essence, it means to follow the teaching of Christ. Now, the whole idea around that is like, well, is that everything that stands in the Bible? And am I supposed to follow that word literally? And am I supposed to follow that according to what someone else says? Or is it about my own relationship to God, to divinity, to Jesus, and so forth? For me, it is simply about a relationship to this ultimate loving being that somehow can guide you in any step of the way. Whenever you're in a troublesome position in your life. And so, are we Christian? Well, per definition, let's say if you follow that, then maybe you would see yourself as a Christian. But another thing that I really want to connect to this is when people hear the word Christian, it can have a little bit of a negative connotation to it, because there's been wars, and there's been crucifixions, and there has been inquisitions in the name of Christ, and that can, and that is tied into that word, which makes people almost instantly is like, oh, this is a nasty subject, because the energetic body inside of a being, inside of a person, it feels that collective trauma that is tied to that word. So some people could say, no, I'm not a Christian. I like Jesus, but no, I'm not a Christian. So that's what I have to say about that.
Amazing. Thank you, Oscar. So for me, what is a Christian? Is it someone who goes to church, obeys the Ten Commandments, is a Protestant or a Catholic, and is struggling to get to God? Or is a Christian, a true Christian, a true follower, a true brother or sister of Jesus, of the truth? That's my interpretation of a Christian. That's the kind of Christian I am. However, what does it mean to be a Christian in the church, for example? It can mean a struggle. It can mean a life that is, I would say, without joy. For me, God is joy. Jesus Christ, Yeshua ben Joseph, is complete joy, intelligent joy. God is intelligent joy. But do we see that? Do we feel that in the church? Sometimes. People need the church. There are millions and millions of people who call themselves Christians and are Christians. However, let's go to the next question. And I'd like to ask Oscar, are you a Christian? Would you say that you are a Christian?
I haven't really come to terms with that, as I mentioned before, the slaughter or the inquisitions and all of these things that is tied to that word. And when you asked me this earlier, I actually said that I feel that I'm more of a Christed being. It's like I adore the teachings or the pureness of the teachings of Christ. And I love to tap into that energy. And that's somehow what I felt that the disciples were doing as well, right? Because they were disciples not just to teach it, but the whole idea was to become what he represented. And so that is what I strive for, or I joyously journey towards, is that purity that Christ shone or shined upon humanity, and what I discern, and that is the frame of mind I use whenever I read biblical text. It's like that is the paradigm that I come from, and somehow I feel that is way more comforting and what do you call it, merciful, and more embracing of me as a being and the way I look upon myself from that standpoint, rather than looking in a very literal sense as like, oh, look at that, now you were sinning. So yeah, I would say I'm a Christed being, and I follow the teachings of Christ, but I do it in a very, very gentle manner, and I do not force it upon anyone else. Therefore, yeah, it's a Christed being, and Christian, perhaps, when that word has been fully healed.
Beautiful. Yeah. So, first of all, what is a Christ? A Christ is an anointed one. And who anoints us? Is it the church? For me, we anoint ourselves. We are born divine. We're not born in sin. We are born divine. So am I a Christian? Well, yes, I am. But I would call myself a spiritual Christian. So a little bit like you, Oscar, I would go back to the truth that Jesus interpreted for us, that we are free, that we are love, and that we are God. Now that's controversial, but on the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, "Behold God." That's all we needed to hear. But how many actually heard it and got it? So I'm a spiritual Christian, and my journey is one of joy. And it doesn't mean I'm like new agey out there. No, it's my truth is based on ancient wisdom that is at least 35,000 years old. So it goes back to original truth. And how does it affect my life? It affects my life every single day, every single moment, because I was a seeker of truth and I found truth. So let's go to our next question. What are Christians hungry for, do you think, Oscar?
Well, in the Bible, they also talk about the second coming of Christ. So Christians per se are hungry for Christ to come back in the way that he is, right? So, but it's also, why are you hungry for that? Well, because he comes back, he represents something, right? He has he represents maybe love, unconditional equality, joy for all, and divine wisdom. You know, it's like he represents these things that people per se are longing for in their life. But so they long for this, they are hungry for it. And some of their ideas is like to follow the teachings and follow the Bible and follow the commandments and follow these laws and so forth that are written, is their idea of getting closer to what these traits, what these things represent, right? As they are waiting for Christ to come back and somehow, you know, pat them on the back and say, you did a great job, and here's the key to the stairway of heaven. I will wait for you up there, and we will live happily ever after, forever and ever. And amen, brother. Now I'm not trying to be condescending, right? But that for fun, that's somehow what is going on. And I think that waiting for Christ, that waiting for this to occur, can be a long wait. And if you also look upon that, and then somehow, if you're waiting, then you're not yet there. And everything in our life happens in the present moment, right? It's right here, right now. Right now, you can connect to these divine energies. Right now, you can feel this overwhelmingly heavenly feeling that this person is longing for. So I would say that they're longing for an utter heavenly euphoric feeling that's supposed to be everlasting. That's my understanding of it. Yeah.
Amazing. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, the second coming of Christ, you know, we can wait for eons, hundreds and thousands of years. And when Christ came, it was in the Bible that Jesus was going to come. And he, in his reading of the Bible, he said, today the law is fulfilled. And people were shocked. It's like, no, you don't look like the Messiah. You don't feel like the Messiah. You're from Nazareth. You know, you're a Nazarene. How could you ever be the Messiah? But the Nazarenes were also Essenes, so they were very, very enlightened people. So the second coming of Christ, what is that? It's us. It's not Jesus. It's us. By the way, Jeshua ben Joseph has never left this planet. He did ascend, and he's here, and he's never left. So why wait for him to come back? Why not do the simplest thing in the world is to reach God within? It seems to be for a lot of people the hardest thing. But once we get rid of all these stuff, the commandments, all the stuff in the way, how we think it should be, and just go straight in to our conscience, to our soul, to our spirit, and we listen. We even listen to the silence, because God speaks in silence. Then we have reached that moment. I'm not saying that means that we are a Christ, but that's all we want to do, is to go within. So it's something very beautiful. I mean, young girls were burnt at the stake because they did exactly that. They went to the woods, they saw angels, they saw God, they spoke to Jesus, or they just had this euphoric feeling that Oscar was talking about, because they went within, and they were burnt at the stake for that. Today, we're not. Well, in most countries, we're not. But that's what I think that Christians are hungry for. So, Oscar, do you have anything to add to today's conversation?
No, I mean, just what you said there is this relationship that we ourselves have to divinity, this embracing of these qualities. And another thing that people should also understand in terms of inviting the divine into your life, it's actually what is said around it, right? You need to invite it. You actually need to want it. You need to call upon it. It does not come by itself, because you have free will as a human being. So that's why usually when you struggle, when you go through pains and hardships that you cannot take care of yourself, it has a function, and the function is to bring you closer to these loving, kind, and considerate, and embracing and cherishing energies and beings and Christ that is there for you when you invite him or her or it into your life. And just to be very gentle with that, and also understand that when you read certain of these harsh texts and they make you feel in a certain way, just go within, exactly like Katarina says. Go within and discern in your life, right? Because somehow these are just directions that point, because they're, the 10 commandments, they may sound harsh, but somehow they can also be a little bit of a direction as to where should we move our consciousness in order to look at areas in our life that we somehow judge ourselves of falling short. And be very gentle as we're looking upon that, and then call upon divine energies to aid us in our own understanding of what is happening within us. To be very gentle and very humble around that. So you start healing from within without judging yourself, right? Because it's so easy to take upon yourself. It's like, oh, I've sinned and I'm a bad human being. No, you're not. But it's good to recognize wherever you feel that you are falling short, and to be kind to yourself around that.
Yeah, the commandments can be guidelines. Yes, that's another conversation we can have, the 10 commandments.
It is.
And next week, we are going to talk about our spiritual teachers. How did we get to the place that we are? And we're not saying, oh, we're so enlightened and you're not. Absolutely not. So viewers, please, you may be way more enlightened than we are. And in that case, please put your comments in the bar and join the conversation. So, Oscar, how do we get in touch with you?
Well, you will reach me through my website, realitydecoding.com. I have a Facebook community called Live Your Purpose and a YouTube channel called Oscar Nygren.
Okay.
And Katarina, where do people reach you?
I'm Catherine Carlsson on LinkedIn. Catherine, Katherine, Carlsson, Carlsson. And otherwise, I'm Katarina Hanssens Carlsson. That's my brand name. And you can reach me on LinkedIn, or you can click on the link below and have a 15-minute free conversation with me. And perhaps you would like a spiritual breakthrough. Perhaps you'd like a spiritual blueprint. Let's have a conversation. So see you next week. Thank you so much, Oscar. And
thank you, everyone.
Have a great week.
Take care.